The agent's formality caused my throat to thicken. Are you familiar with the Caesar Sayoc case? Of course. Every news channel had been covering it around the clock for the past few weeks. In the days leading up to 2018's midterm elections, Sayoc sent prominent Democrats pipe bombs in a wave of attacks. Fear of political violence spread across the nation. When the news first broke, I'd been on a job. I'm a ghost, but not the scary kind. The writer kind. Almost all celebrity books are written by ghostwriters like me, unknown writers who learn the minutiae of their celebrity clients' lives and toil in obscurity to meet tight deadlines. But it's true. Most famous people don't have the time, skill, or inclination to write a book while starring in a television show, running for office, or training for the Olympics. That's where I come in. I sit down, hear their stories, and go to their homes, studios, movie sets, weddings, or Olympic training centers, and create books that will be in stores in 12 to 18 months. When Sayoc mailed his first pipe bombs, I was with a client in a hotel lobby. The television news anchor on a nearby TV described how the bomber had targeted Bill and Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, several members of Congress, Barack Obama, George Soros, and Robert De Niro. The other hotel guest and I got closer to the screen, which showed images of a cylindrical object wrapped in electrical tape, wires emerging from both ends. Black ISIS-like flags were taped to them, as well as photos of the recipients with a red X marked across their faces. Someone was terrifying the nation right before the midterms. Bad news for democracy. My client shrugged and continued the interview. Anyway, so let me tell you about why I support the president, even if people say he's divisive. He's a unifier, if anything. Days after the first attack, the FBI identified this domestic terrorist as a stockily built Florida man who lived in a van covered with pro-Trump posters. The feds found binders full of media clippings, photo collages of people's faces, and writings that said, in a 180-degree twist on the words of Christ, "Kill your enemy." He'd taken his cues from every serial killer documentary ever made. I saw it on the news, I said to the FBI agent. But what does any of this have to do with me? We found your address on Sayoc's computer. He paused. Your husband was on his list. I sat down at the kitchen table. I'd never thought David, a conservative Iraq war veteran, would ever be listed with Bill Clinton, Joe Biden, and Robert De Niro. We'd been Republicans our whole lives, and I'd helped many conservative leaders on book projects. He targets prominent critics of the president, he said. Would that include your husband? It would. David, who wrote for the conservative magazine National Review, had been one of the only Republican thought leaders to oppose Trump. His name had even been briefly floated for a quixotic third-party run for President of the United States. He declined, but not before his reputation among Republicans was sealed. Traitor. What do we do? He may have sent you a package we haven't intercepted yet, he explained. We're working with the U.S. Postal Service, but one could slip through. I put my forehead in my hand, and my teenage son, who'd been hovering nearby, walked over, eyes wide with concern. Look out for nondescript manila envelopes you aren't expecting, the agent said, and alert your neighbors. None of the packages have detonated, but they could. I couldn't breathe. I've always prided myself on having a certain amount of emotional awareness and flexibility. Being a ghostwriter requires it. I'd worked with celebrities like Kim Kardashian, The Bachelor's Sean Lowe, a Chinese political dissident, and prominent Republicans who had inhabited the nation's top political positions. As a ghost, I don't write, he hit Clara's daughter, but he hit my daughter. I don't write, the car crash killed the passengers, but the car crash killed my friends. I describe scenes in such detail that I sometimes experience secondary trauma, vicariously living through the moment to capture it in the first-person written word. But in 2016, I felt a different, more personal type of trauma. That's when things started to change in the GOP. Within a party proclaiming faith and freedom, an unsavory